All right, we're gonna take an Iron Orchid Design Gallery Wood Blank. It's something that I started a while back. There's a lot of texture on here. I had extra paint. I've talked about this a lot, that I will take extra paint and I will put it on with a palette knife. I used crinoline and apothecary, and I just created this marble look. I had some clay left over from a project, and I created this key, and I just went ahead and glued it on here. Had no idea what I was going to do. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to stencil, stamp, and then stencil some more, and just come up with a kind of a multimedia piece that you could put in the midst of your gallery wall. And it's just, these are small little wood blanks. You could do it this way if you wanted and have this be the frame, but like I said, I had this already prepped and ready to go. And so what I want to do first is I want to create a tone on, like a monochromatic, I guess, tone or subtle texture. That's what I want to create. So I'm taking this stencil by Mara LaFay. She created it for Jamie Ray Vintage, and I used gold on it in the past, so that's, you can see that on here. But I just want to create some texture, and I'm going to take the Jamie Ray stencil. I'm going to take this brush. Actually, I think I'm going to take the bigger one. All right, take this one. And I'm going to stencil this. And I knew I wanted to stencil today. And the reason I wanted to stencil is because I have been seeing a lot of questions in different groups about stenciling. And there's a lot of people that are not comfortable stenciling. I'm just going to tap the paint on. And then I'm going to take off a good majority. Now I'm going to hold this down. I'm not going to tape it. I'm just going to do this in white. I like the swirling method. You could pounce it. It's just loud, and I really prefer to swirl. And so I'm doing this in white on top of what I already have, just to create some interest. And I just hold it down. And so I'm going to take my paint that I tapped off, and I'm just going to stencil. And I found when I used this stencil the last time, I used it on a desk, and I used it with DIY paints, and I also created a raised stencil. I did several things, and it came out really super cool. What I find with these stencils, because they're so thick, is that it actually comes out looking like a raised stencil. So that's kind of cool if you apply a little bit more paint. I don't think that it will now. All right, I'm going to just lift it up. And it's just a little bit of texture. I'm going to go ahead and you'll be able to see it when I dry it. I don't know. I think you can see it a little bit. Like I said, it's not an in your face. It's just for background. And I'm going to go ahead and wipe the back off. If I have, yeah. So I'm going to flip it. I did this. I'm going to flip it this way. But before I flip it, I'm just going to wipe it. It's probably dry. Yeah, it's dry. All right, so I'm going to flip it. And I'm going to do it like this. So it's a little bit different. Yeah. So I want this going on the outside. I think I like that. I'm not trying to do the same exact pattern, and I do have this key right here. So here's the thing. You have to hold it down so that it won't bleed. So people are saying that they're having a lot of trouble with stenciling. Everything they do, it bleeds. They get frustrated. Let me know if that's your story. No shame. No shame. Sometimes it's the brush. Sometimes it's the stencil. So I always ask questions. What stencil are you using? What brush are you using? What paint are you using? If the paint is watered down, then you might get some bleeding. If you have too much paint on your brush, you're going to get bleeding. If you're using a brush that's not made for stenciling, or poor, an inexpensive brush, sometimes it'll do that. So see how the paint is already dried on here because I use such very little paint. I'll just put this and wash it with soap and water later. And this is a little bit wet right here, but this is dry. And that's how easy it is to stencil. So what I decided to do, this is Christ and Crafting, y'all. I'm sorry, I didn't even say hello. I didn't say welcome. Welcome to Christ and Crafting. Tomorrow is going to be a treat. I can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be super, super fun. I'm not even going to tell you what's happening. It's going to be a surprise. It's going to be awesome, though. I'm really excited. And then on Wednesday, I have another guest. And then on Thursday, I have another guest. So I have 3 guests in a row. And we're going to be doing something different. But today's broadcast is brought to you by Psalm 119, verse 103. And it says, "How sweet are your words to my taste, sweeter than honey to my mouth." And so what I want to do is I pulled out the Queen Bee stamp. And I'm going to stamp this like this and plop it down. And so I've got this key. And what I was going to do is I have a whole bunch of the little letters that I had made in resin and the numbers. And I was going to put Psalm 109, 113 here, but I didn't like it. So I think I might add like a little label later, kind of like I did on a previous piece. I'll show that to you here. All right. So what I want to do is I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use the stone gray. I don't think I want it to be black. I think I'm going to use stone gray. So I'm going to go ahead and just lightly put this on here. I don't even know if did I sand this one? I've used this one. I think I'm going to go with black. I can't see if it's stamped or not. I think I'm going to do a mixture of both, like a little bit. We'll see how that comes out. All right. So I just have it on the plastic that it comes with, the acetate sheet. I'm just going to hover and plop. Hopefully I didn't shift. We'll see. And then I'm just going to lightly make an impression. And see, I'm just using my fingertips. And if you shift, you can sand it to make it distressed. Same thing with stenciling. Like people, I was just talking to someone about that. Like you can sand it to distress it. You could just, if it's painted in one color, get a fine little brush and touch up. I used to do that a lot when I used to make signs. Like it's okay. You can fix it. Everything is fixable, right? You don't have to worry about it. Don't stress out. Worst case scenario, just slap a coat of paint all over it and try again. So I really like the way that looks. And I know once I seal this, you'll be able to see some of that texture of the white come through. And I'm not sure yet. I might add a little bit of gold to this, to the key, because I think I like the idea of that. So let me show you. Like I said, this is just something that you throw on your wall. Now, see how chunky DIY paint gets? I will sand that down because that's just, I don't like that on the edge. I wanted texture here, but I don't want that there. Now, see how when you put it onto DIY paint that's unsealed, the ink, even though it has a large open time, it dries super, super quick. So, which is perfect for my next step because I wanted to add some dimension. So I'm taking the JRV stencil created by Mara LaFay. It's called, what's it called? Oh, here. Playful Background Stencil. I didn't even open it up. I got this one from my friend Rachel when I went to visit her in Tennessee. The other one I actually bought directly from Mara LaFay and a couple of others that she came out with. Wait, is this Mara LaFay one? Maybe this is just a JRV vintage one. Okay, this is by Mara. Okay, so what's really cool is that it has two sections. So this has like cracks, and then this is a honeycomb. So I thought I would get this. I'm lining it up here, and I'm gonna do this gold. I've been watching L&J Goods, Lynn Brunridge from L&J Goods. She's been doing that with this honeycomb one, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to have it. So I took off the majority of the wax. I've been using this wax as a stencil, and I really like it a lot. If you put a little bit too much wax, it looks like it might bleed a little bit, but when it dries super, super cool. So I'm just doing it in several different places, kind of like if the honeycomb was broken, just to have a little bit of texture. And again, I'm holding it down. And so this is texture upon texture upon texture upon texture. And I think it's going to look pretty cool. And if not, again, it's just paint. We'll paint right over it. I don't know if that's it. I'm going to pick this up. Oh my word. Oh my word, y'all. Do you see that? I love this. Okay. I've got to clean off. I don't have any good wipes. These are old. So I'm just going to, I like to take the wax off of it. This looks super, super cool. I hope that you can see what I'm seeing. The only thing with the wax is that I probably, oh gosh, you could see the shimmer. You could seal it first and then put it on, but I'm going to have to let it dry before I put the big top over it. Now, technically, wax should always be last, but I have been doing this with big top on top. I don't know that I would do it on furniture. Maybe I would. I don't know. But I do really, really like it. And it's been working good. I think I want to go ahead, actually. I was going to use Golden Ticket, but I think I'm just going to use this. This way, it's got the same sheen and the same intensity. And guys, that's it. That's how easy. Now, obviously, we didn't paint it together today, but whenever you have paint left over, like I have some white left over, go ahead and throw it on something. Put it on with a palette knife. Create some texture. Blend it. Like I said, you could see a little bit of that greenish color, the apothecary. I think it looks super, super cool. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to sand this because there's a lot of texture I don't like. I am going to paint this in the white here. That's why I have so much extra. But let me see. Oh, I have a sanding thing right here. Let me see if I can do that real quick. And maybe I can seal it. And even though this has been done for weeks now, I mean, probably months, because I didn't seal it, I can still wet it. I can reactivate it. I can sand it down. Of course, if I could really grab a hold of it, it would be better. It's hard to do this while you're holding it, but I don't want to do it on the table because it shakes the table and then it shakes the camera. All right, that's better. And so whenever you sand DIY paint, there is dust everywhere. So it just gets everywhere. All right, let's paint this real quick. All right, oops, that had some weird stuff on it. You could paint this any color. Usually I like to paint my sides in black. Oops, there was sand, dust. But I think I'm gonna opt for white for this one. Okay. And I might be able to go ahead and seal it with Big Top. I think I will. I am going to create a little tag down here. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I have it right here. So I'm doing a light coat. You can see the grain of the wood. But look at how nice this is going to look. And so hung on your wall, it's going to look super, super cool. Let me show you because I have the picture. Oh, I have a picture right here. I have two dogs under the table and my foot got caught in one of them. All right, so we did this the other day, last week. And so I made a tag with my scriptures. That's what I'm talking about. I have a little crimpled paper. I have a crimper, and then I printed this one out and I just edged it with my ink. Like I literally took my ink pad and did it like this, and I took my paper and I went like that on the corners, which is easier to do on a stiffer paper, but you can kind of see the distress. It just distresses it and ages it. And so that's what I did with that. And then on the bottom one, I actually inked it a little bit more. And then this way I can have my scripture. So this is a really, really cool multimedia piece. Now look, my fingerprints evidence that I touched this. My fingerprints are all over it. All right, let's see what this looks like sealed. I've got a little bit of Big Top right here that I've been using. And you know what I could do? Actually, I think I'm going to do this. Remember I did this week? I have Big Top on here. This way I don't smudge my wax. All right, let's do it. It's not coming out yet. There we go. It's coming out kind of blotchy. Sometimes it does that. It's these little bottles. My feet keep getting stuck in dog. All right, that is not working. It does work though, I promise. I've been doing it. All right, let me see. Let's see if I can spread it. Okay, it's dry enough. All right, let's try it. Some of those bottles, I think I need to cut the very, very bottom of it because it's too much to the bottom. Some of them aren't that way. Some of them are better. So I'm just lightly, very lightly, because this is all, not the bottom, but everything on top is new. So I'm just hitting it. And now you can see that green pop. This is still wet, but I'm going to hit it. I'm going to live dangerously. All right. and make sure I don't have any drips. But this is going on the wall. You know, it's not gonna hurt anything. Did you see that cloud? All right, and you can see the gold. Oh my goodness. All right, put this in water. Always put your big tub brush in water right away so it doesn't get hard. Y'all, 20 minutes. I'm at 20 minutes. Now, granted, I didn't do the background, but still, if you pre-plan it and you just do a whole bunch of these canvases, then you could go and you can create gifts on the fly. This would be a great little gift to give somebody. And then on the back side, I have done it where they're two-sided. And that might be a great way to do it, is to paint the back side, make the back side the frame in white, continue that, or in black, this, and then decoupage inside the scripture. Because I'm not going to do it now since it's wet, but these can stand. So this could be a shelf sitter, or it could be on your night table or end table in the living room, and then you could see both sides, of the coffee table, and then you could see both sides of it. But I love the way that this turned out. Super, super cool. But I think for this one, I might just go ahead and put that little tag there because it just kind of is calling for something right there. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you'll try this. Again, I used Queen Bee IOD stamp. So I've started where I keep the backs so that I can have it in. I have these little folders, but this is the stamp. I get these from Hobby Lobby. I mean, I still have that sticker there. I need to take that off. But this is the one, and I did this design. I really liked that, so I did that design on here with the small crown, not the big one, because I didn't have enough space. I used crinoline and apothecary as the base. I used a little bit of black ink and gray ink. I think you can see the combination. And then for this top, I used vintage linen. I use these stencils. This one is called, what did I say? Playful Backgrounds with the honeycomb. And then I use the other one. I think it's called like Florals something. I don't know. She has 9 designs. This is a Mara LaFay design by Jamie Ray Vintage. It wouldn't be hard to figure out which one it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you'll share this. I hope you're enjoying the Christ in Crafting. Again, this is Psalm 119, 103. How sweet are your words to my taste, sweeter than honey to my mouth. I love Psalm 119 because it has a lot of scripture like that just reminds us of how his precepts are good and they are pleasing to us and they're strengthening and they're just awesome. And so that's what this reminds me of. So I hope you guys have an incredibly blessed day. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe.